All right, so the next 3 days we're going to be working on rounding numbers to the hundreds place. So we've already done rounding to the tens, now we're just bumping it up to the hundreds. So we're going to kind of review our rules as well as counting by hundreds. So let's start by counting by hundreds. So if I'm counting by hundreds, I'm going 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. So when I say I'm counting by hundreds, that's what I mean by that. What is the nearest hundred? Are the nearest hundreds 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, or 900? That's what round the hundreds are, the closest hundreds. Now, if you'll remember, we used two different strategies for rounding to the tens. We used a number line and we also used the rounding wrap. So we're going to start by reviewing the number line and then we'll go into the wrap. So let's say that I want to round the number 263 to the nearest hundred. So I need to think about, well, if I'm counting by hundreds, that's my 0, 100, 200. Where is 260 get 3? What is it going to be between? So I'll put these back up here for our reference. 600, 700, 800, and 900. So if I'm counting by 100, 263, what will it be between? Excuse me. So if I'm rounding 263 to the hundreds, it would be between 200 and 300. So those are going to be my ends of my number line. So I'm going to put 200 on this end, and I'm going to put 300 on the other end. And 263 is somewhere between there. We have to decide, is it going to be a red or a green? So we start by underlining that 2, because that 2 in the hundreds place is telling us that we need to go to the hundreds. So I'm going to start. I know that I have 2 colors for rounding. I have a red and I have a green. Red means stop, green means go. So what were my stop numbers? My stop numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. My go numbers are 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So in this question, we're not going to count by ones from 200 to 300 because that's going to take us forever. What would be an easier thing do you think that we could count by? Pause the video and come up with an answer. Okay, what was your answer? Well, I know I like to count by tens because counting by tens for me is very easy. So I'm going to count by tens. If I'm counting by tens, what comes after 200? 210, 220, 230, 240. So notice I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 in red. So whatever it is you're counting by, that is what would be the red and the green. So I'm counting by tens, so my tens is where I'm looking for my red and my green. After 240 comes 250. There's my 5 that's green. 260, 270, 280, 290, and 300. So now I need to figure out, well, 263, about where is that on the number line? So if I'm looking at my number line, I would say 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260. Okay, so that gets us started. 260 and 3. So it's probably somewhere around here. Now, is that in green territory or red territory? So remember, everything in up to here is red, Everything from 250 on is green. So that means it is a green, which means it goes to 300. So 263 rounded to the nearest 100 is equal to 300. Okay, because we were counting by tens on our number line, and that 60 is a green number. Okay, let's try another example. I'm going to leave my counting by hundreds there for reference for the next one, but we'll start a new number line. Get that. Okay, so my second example, let's do 728, and I want to know, what does 728 round to the nearest 100? So first things first, I'm going to underline the digit in the hundreds place, because that's going to help me with my counting. So I have to decide, okay, 728, what is that going to come between? 100, 200, 200, 300, 300, 400. Pause the video and come up with an answer. Okay, so if we come back, 728 is going to come between 700 and 800. Because it's in there somewhere. It starts with a 7, starts with a 7. So I'm going to put 700 on this end and 800 on this end. Now, in between, we're not going to count by ones because that seems a little bit ridiculous. So we're going to count by tens. Okay, and I'm going to continue using my red and my green. Since I'm counting by tens, it's going to be the digit in the tens place that tells me red or green. So 0 through 4 tens are red, and 5 through 9 tens are green. Oops. I know that you can see the color green. Okay, so 700. 710, that's 110. 720, 2 tens. 730, 3 tens. 740. Now I have my 4 tens, so I'm now going to go to green because 5 tens. 750, 760, 770, 780, 790, 800. Because remember, it's not really the 7 that's doing the rounding, it's the digit to its right in the circle. That's telling us where on the number line the number is. So 728. What would 728 be in between? Well, if I'm counting 701, 702, I don't need to do that. I can go, well, 720, 720. Now I just need to figure out 28. So I know it's probably going to be pretty close to 730. So I can see that anything up until 750, so 749 to 700 to 749 is red. So 728 takes me back to 700. So our steps are, figure out, if we're rounding to the hundreds, figure out what digit is in the hundreds place. So that's where our underline of the 7 comes in. Step 2, figure out, well, what 100 is the number between? Okay, so I know that 728 is going to be between 700 and the next one, which is 800. Next step, third step, look to the digit to the right, because that's the digit that's going to be telling you what rounding that you need to do. Please do not count by ones on your number line, because the digit to the right is a 10, so we are going to count by tens. Because remember, the digit to the right is the one telling the number which way to round. So once you count by tens, decide, is it a red or a green? Okay, we're gonna just kind of review. Actually, we'll do one more example and then we'll review the rounding wrap. So I'm gonna leave my counting by hundreds up there, and I'm gonna do, this is a trickier example, so bear with me. 996, and I'm gonna round it to the hundreds place. Okay, so step one, find the digit in the hundreds place, because that's telling us what hundred we need to be between. So 996, pause the video and think about what hundred is that between. Okay, well, I know that it's gonna start with 900. If I'm counting by 100s, 700, 800, 900, what comes next? 700, 800, 900, 1000. So now we can do our rounding. We can go on to step two. I'm gonna go to the right and circle it. That's my number that's gonna be doing my rounding. It's in the tens place, so I'm going to count by tens. 900, 910, 920, 930, 940. Switch it over to a different color, because once I hit the 5, I switch. 950, 960, 970, 980, and 990. So now that I've counted by tens, and my digit in the tens place is my one that's doing the rounding, so I need to find where my number goes on my number line. 996, so I'm looking for that on my number line. 910, 20, so I'm going to go all the way up to where 96 would be about. 96 is going to be pretty close over there. So 996 is going to round up to 1000. And if we're doing this following the rounding wrap, if you remember, bear with me, find the place value and underline the digit, move to the right and circle it. 0 through 4, whoops, I'm sorry, 0 through 4, the line stays the same. 5 through 9, adding 1 is the game. This is 5 through 9. Now flex your muscles, just like a hero. Digits to the right turn into 0. All the other numbers stay the same. That makes us winners in the rounding game. So I underlined my digit in the hundreds place, move to the right and circle it. 0 through 4, the line stays the same. 5 through 9, adding 1 is the game. So the 9 in the circle, does that count as a 0 to 4 or a 5 to 9? So 0 to 4, we add 0. 5 to 9, we're going to add 1. So 9, 9. So we're going to add 1. So I'm going to say 1 plus 9 is equal to 10. All the digits to the right turn into 0. And this circle kind of looks like a 0, which is another hint as to how to tell where to start your zeros. And all the other numbers stay the same. That makes us winners in the rounding game. So 996 is closest to, or is about 1000.